Hello, yet again. Cathar Love number 93. Moving right along. Just what to believe? Big question mark. It's everybody's dilemma at some point in their lives. And I think after we leave our nest, our home, and some people head off to university, others take the school of hard knocks in life, talk to varying people, listen to various ideas, and some of us, certainly I, have a change of mind, sometimes a change of heart. And there are others, of course, who are still not convinced. I think it was Omar Khayyam, well, I don't think I know it was Omar Khayyam, who said, when I was young I did oft frequent doctor and saint and heard great argument about this and about that, but evermore came out the same door as in I went. In other words, he heard all these amazingly intelligent people, but it went in one door and came out the other. It made no difference. So he was the guy that said, he said that when it all boils down, he said, was it, and he beneath the bough of a tree, he beneath the bough, a flask of wine, a book of verse, and thou, that's his sweetheart of course, beside me singing in the wilderness, and that's paradise enough, that's paradise enough. So a lot of people settle for that, just enjoying life. And yeah, so what to believe? And well, I've come to a few conclusions through one reason or another, and a lot of those conclusions have come late at night, late in life. And the other thing is that as I seem to get to a certain level of understanding, or comprehension of what the cosmos, the universe is all about, and it certainly isn't about religion, I can tell you that. And I know people love their religions. I mean, people will die for their religions, and that's fine, that's good. They're bad, good on them, that's fine, as long as they're not taking other people with them, with a bomb or something. Doing God's work, blowing other people up, give us a break. But anyway, the basic thing is why I don't like religions. I don't dislike people who belong to religion, but they're all forms of control. I want liberation. I want to be liberated. I want to be, if I want to believe in this, I'll believe in that. If I change my mind, I want to believe in that. And if I get more understanding, and through a bit of science, or through some mystical knowledge, or maybe a good book, or someone puts me into some direction, or maybe I'm listening to some guy like myself chatting on YouTube, I want to be able to change my mind. I want to be able to adjust my belief. I want to hang loose in my beliefs. And so I don't want to be controlled. I want to be liberated. I want to be liberated. Religion to me speaks of control, and it doesn't matter what religion it is. They're all, in that respect, they're all the same. Buddhists, Christians, Jewish people, Muslims, it's all, I heard on the TV the other day, this guy, he was behind he was the spiritual head of the people who blew at the Bali bombing, who blew up the club in Bali and killed Australians and Americans and English people and Balinese. And he said, for believers, he's going to go to hell. Well, to hell with you. I don't believe in hell. Don't want to believe in hell or demons or anything like that. I mean, look, I hear people do. People, and so many people do. Well, good luck to you and your beliefs. Me, I don't have them. And, but it's enough trying to sort out getting away from hell and damnation and all that. But there is there are really people around the world, thankfully, who through a lifetime of pursuit through different, some are just pure psychics, like the mediums, and they actually see the dead, they see the spirits, the people from the other world. There are people like those. I've met two, and well, three actually, and one was for Susie, I spoke before, and she was just absolutely brilliant. My mother and father are always there. My guide, Brady de Montre, is always there. And the last time there was Henri de Nabors, there was Gullibat de Castres and Bertrand Marty. These are all people, top Cathars, who were burnt, and Gullibat de Castres died a natural death. But they were there, and Susie said, look, you know, John's supposed to be doing this and doing that and so forth. It's a big ask, you know. He's not a young man. And they said this was planned before he was born. So just from that, you know, I know there is a plan. So I believe we have a plan. We have a purpose in life. And I think one of the causes of people's unhappiness is that they get so caught up in making money or becoming a celebrity or drugs, some addiction, whatever it is, gambling or sex or this or that. I mean, they're all to be enjoyed, but, you know, not so that they harm us in any way. Yeah, our bodies are temples, and we do have to look after them. And so we have these beliefs that we arrive at, and we're lucky to have these people, I don't know, they're not guardians, they're people to guide us. I mean, we've had our prophets of old and who didn't do very well. Poor Jesus, and he kicked off, and he was great, and the things that he said, but unfortunately about love and loving your neighbour and so forth, but we tend to make war on our neighbour and give our neighbour a hard time. So and so on, and Buddha wasn't even interested in religion, and Buddhism has been turned into religion. Buddha was take the middle path. Don't go to extremes one way or the other, and so forth. So I'm sure Muhammad would be turning in his grave at what people are doing today in the name of Islam, and so forth, Jews, for a persecuted race, are persecuting the people in Palestine and so forth, and so it's all pretty bad, but so much of this we see at the root cause. There's a basis of religion propelling all this in a negative and hateful and spiteful way, instead of taking the good, positive aspects of each of these religions, because they have highly positive aspects. They're not the things. It's the hateful side. I remember this Irish guy said, he said we Irish. He said we Catholic Irish. He said we never really learned about much in school. He said, but we did learn to hate. In other words, to be bigoted and hate those who weren't Catholics and so forth. So this is a pity. So I feel, and I promote Gnosticism and Catharism, and one of the major reasons why I do that is simply because you're free. You're free. You can go down this Gnostic path, and it's so different to mine, but it's still a Gnostic path, because you're thinking for yourself. You're doing things that you feel are right for you. Yesterday, in fact, I was experimenting with another camera and a Nikon, and it's very sharp and checking the lighting, but things just didn't work out, and I was going to talk about a particular thing, and that didn't work out. And for the first time in 3 or 4 years that I've been doing this, the phone never rings. My phone's there, my mobile cell phone, but this never rang, and yet it rang, and I thought, oh, okay, whatever it is, I'm just not supposed to be doing it today. So, but what actually happened? My partner said, "No, stick with the camera we've been using." I said, "Oh, yeah, why is that?" She said, the other camera's so sharp. She said, yeah, all your wrinkles are going to show up and so forth, and every little red spot in your face will I haven't got too many, will show up. It's too sharp." And I thought, yeah, that's a very good point. And I had a girlfriend once, and her name was Therese. And she said, "You know, John," she said, your body's in pretty good shape." She said, "but it's your eyes that give you away." And it wasn't my eyes, it was the wrinkles around my eyes that, she said, to give your age away. But you know, if I didn't have the wrinkles, I'd be very pleased, but I'm not displeased that I had them. And so, what to believe? Now I can tell you two things that I would highly recommend to anybody. And it's nothing to do with belief. It's just something to do that gives you a far better quality of life, and also helps build up you as a person, your ego and so forth. And and for guys, today I went ballroom dancing. Now, I've been doing it for a number of years, so I'm quite a good dancer. Now, the thing is about that if you're a good dancer, it wouldn't matter if you're a guy, now, whether you're good looking or ugly or had two heads. Women want to dance with you, because simply you're a good dancer, you can lead. So, if you can dance, and for a guy it's a bit of hard work, and you've got to take lessons, you've got to pay out a bit of money or something like that to get started and get going. But I'm telling you, from that point onwards, you'll never have to worry about having a lass or lady friends by your side, because simply you're there. They may not want your body, they may just want your feet, but at least they want you. So, and also for that hour or two, hour and a half that was today, it's active meditation. You're not there in quietness contemplating your navel. Well, and I'm not knocking meditation, I do it, and I should do it more. Welcome silence. But dancing is active meditation, because when you're dancing, it wouldn't matter how many worries that you have, they're gone. For that hour, a couple of hours, all you're interested in is the joy and the exhilaration and the pleasure of the dance, and dancing with, and especially if you're dancing with somebody who's also quite a good dancer. And the other thing is, I mean, I see these people just going, and they're great, but having a party by themselves. I think one of the joys in life is to ask someone for a dance, get up, and you've got a woman in your arms, and there's some very attractive women out there, let me tell you, and you're dancing with them, and they're close, and you know, your legs are there, and your legs are there, and body to body, and it's not sexual, but there's a sensual aspect to it. And it's just sheer delight, because you've got this synchronicity going on between you. Now, I don't recommend that as a belief, but if you want to advance your lifestyle, and you want to help keep slim and have exercise, and also they found that people who do ballroom dancing don't tend to get Alzheimer's. Well, I haven't got mine so far. The other thing is to go to some group, Toastmasters, or something similar to Toastmasters, where you learn to speak in public. So you learn to express yourself, and and they say, you know, so many people just don't like talking in public. It's a terrible fear, a terrible thing. And but those few times in your life when you get to get up, when one has to get up for marriage, or someone's been born, or someone's dying, or whatever, and you have to say a few words, and you're going through, you're nearly dying the same as the guy who's dying, and you just have to say a few words about the guy. That is something that to do, and to just build up yourself with confidence, and build up your ego. And the other thing is, it's like dancing. It's not easy to begin with. Of course it's not. So many things in life are not easy to commence. And but the longest journey still has to start with the first step. But the fact that you do it, and after a while, you get there and you suddenly, and the fact, some people, when you're at Toastmasters or a group like that, when you're talking, everybody has to shut up. You have the floor. You've got no music going on like I have at the background. You're just simply there on your own and you're talking. And you might say something funny and amusing, and some people laugh. Oh, that's good. But when you're finished, people clap. And if you do a good job, they clap even louder and so forth. And so many people had never had any personal applause in their life. And suddenly you're there, you've done your 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it is, and sometimes it's only for a minute, but you've said something and off the cuff, and people are applauding, and that gives people a sense of worth, a sense of value. So I totally recommend those two aspects. Okay. And because they've made such an amazing difference in my life, and I've seen the differences that it's made in other people's lives. But I see these people at the Toastmasters and so forth, they go talk, and I think, mate, that's great. If you can dance as well, you'd really have it made. And of course, there's people who dance and they can't talk. And in fact, some of the guys I see dancing, believe me, they have the personality of an ant. Now, I'm not being judgmental, but some of them have very little personality. They find it very difficult to speak, but they can dance. And because they can dance, these women want to dance with them and so forth, simply because they want to dance. After the dance, bye-bye, thank you very much for your dance. But at least they're dancing. Okay. So this is not beliefs, but this gives you, these are structures in your life that can give you a firm basis for a sense of self, a sense of ego, and I believe they say one should detach from one's ego, one should put one's ego aside. Hell, most people, so many people I've met, haven't developed an ego. So how can you put it to the side unless you developed it? But I do agree, that once you do develop an ego, and you can see a lot of these celebrities and what have you, and they've got a great ego, and it's time they got a bit detached from their ego. And someone said you can always tell a movie star because it's the person whose eyes glaze over the moment the subject moves away from themselves. So they're so caught up in self. So this is just time for them to have a little bit of detachment of self. But so many people have not got a sense of self, and they need to get it. And it's through, as I said, dancing and so forth, that you can do that, and it gives you a far greater quality of life. Now, moving on, I talked about that before, that there are people. Look, there's a woman who died last year, Dolores Cannon, Dolores. Now that woman started, I think I've talked about her before, and she started with hypnosis with her husband who died, a Vietnam veteran. And they did it for 40 years, and she just experimented and got deeper and deeper and deeper, and got more mystical. But she not only had people do past lives, but she also got people in between lives in the world of spirit, and she describes what's happening in the world of spirit. Got to these people what they were doing before they arrived in this life, what happened after they died in a previous life. And I highly recommend her, because she talks about a lot of things. You may or may not agree, but it's listening. Now the other thing is, there's a couple of books I've recommended before, and they're Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls by Michael Newton. And he also did not just past lives, but lives in between lives. Now, what catches my eye about both Dolores Cannon and Michael Newton and others is they don't talk about God. This God, a personal God, a God who looks like us. They always refer to God or the deity as the source. And so these are people who never knew each other or whatever, and yet, so the moment I see they refer to the creator or the creative energy or whatever you want to call it, which is unknown, and yet they know it's just, they all speak of the totality of unconditional love that emanates from this loving energy. And they have these things in common. And then they talk about the world of spirit, but they don't talk about hell and the day of judgment and damnation and things like that. They talk about some things which are very mind-boggling and very, very, very hard to understand at our human level. And so this is something. There's other books, but what happens? It's great when you meet people like this, and what they do is they correlate, they validate what you believe. Again, a question was put, and I used to wonder if someone died and then they met their mother in the world of spirit, and yet they've been told, possibly by the same, that their mother has reincarnated. Well, from our point of view, how can you be in two places at once? Well, this is where we need this understanding that we are, when it's all boiled down, energy. Our soul energy, divine spark, it's energy. Where we are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. Now, what happens? We have a soul, but you can say we have an oversoul. This is a term that they use. But what it means is that our totality of soul, it just couldn't be put into a human body anyhow. It would, I don't know what happened to the body, but it's just too powerful for a human body. So in our body here, we've only got 50% or 55% or whatever the actual, half of our actual spirit energy in our body here. So half of our energy is always in the world of spirit and doesn't leave it, even if we're being reincarnated. And that's how we can meet our mother or some other person who's already been, 50% of their energy has been reincarnated and already into another incarnation. So so once one starts to move into these areas, and we start to look at ourselves in another manner. Here we have time, but in the world of spirit, in that world, time is timeless. So there's all these aspects, and I find, as far as what to believe, I find the most essential thing is, for anybody, is to have a curiosity that is enough that will lead them on to explore in this direction, maybe that direction, maybe that direction. But your directions could be totally different to my directions. But that, even though we'll still at some point in time come to these people who do have this knowledge, and we can listen to them and we can gain knowledge from them. And so what to believe? The thing is to believe what you believe at the moment. But as our level of comprehension, as our level of understanding of the world of spirit, who we really are, and our way of looking at ourselves, the universe, the cosmos, how it's being created, and in fact, you or I, when we move into the world of spirit, we actually, because some spirits have the job of creating new worlds, new planets, and part thereof. Maybe you're just into planting the trees or creating the trees, but it's all part of the process. And so we leave that job off and we come over here to learn more and understand more before we go back to the world of spirit. But the thing is, it's like they say there's the Good News Bible. Well, understanding this, it's all good news. It makes one feel better about oneself. One understands that each one of us is unique. Each divine spark, Each soul, each oversoul is unique. We have our unchanging characteristics, and each person is unique. Each person is special, and our deepest individuality, even though it could be reincarnated as a male or a female, our deepest individuality doesn't change. This is ours. But it's all good news. It's not something to, you walk away and you hear about this and you've just heard that. You don't feel depressed. You don't feel down. Your energy hasn't been sucked out because you're going to hell the last day of the judgment, and you've been a naughty boy, and you know what's in store for you, or being a naughty girl, because I've been a very naughty boy at times early in my life. I mean, when I was a war when I was a kid, one day I killed one person and I possibly killed three. I don't know what happened to the two others. I wasn't there to watch after the grenade explosion. So, I fed the beast, and thankfully I've moved on. And but I like adventure. I enjoyed my wars, and I've got nothing in those periods that I'm ashamed of. I was a good soldier. But at that time, when I was young and so forth, I didn't have a clue. I managed to get rid of religion, but I was in a void. I really didn't know. But thank goodness that, I was going to say thank God. Well, thank God. I had that sense of curiosity to keep moving me forward and read this and read that and listen to him and listen to that. And slowly, this information started to come. But I did it from a liberated, at least I was a liberated soul. I wasn't being told by some priest or rabbi or mullah or whatever what to do, what to say, how to think and how to run my life. And for that I am eternally grateful. So at least if nothing else, I've been a free spirit to go out and investigate. And so I've come to some conclusions, and some of those I've spoken about today. So as to what to believe, I believe, well, with little choice, you have to believe what you believe at the moment. And even if you don't have any great beliefs, it's, if you move on and once you gain some more understanding, as you get this, what they seem to do is, once you get that understanding and you truly comprehend what's going on, what happens is, well, that's what I believe. But then what they do is they take you to another level of belief and understanding until you comprehend that. And once you do that, you'll move on again. So, as on the board said, don't be trapped by beliefs, because nothing is in cement, and just be prepared to believe. And one other thing we should believe in is we should believe in miracles, because our guides, the world of spirit, are out there, and they do throw little miracles in our path every so often, and sometimes big miracles. So we should look forward to them. We should not pre-formulate them, but we should look forward to having miracles in our lives. So, what to believe? Believe what you're believing at the moment, but keep your mind open and curious and see where it takes you for the future. On that note, bye for now.